Life has a funny way of exposing your flaws. Just when you think you know everything, life is going to show you the exact opposite. How you're completely, utterly clueless. Here I am, basing all my value around my productivity and hard work, quote unquote, thinking I feel good. The moment I stop and sit and relax, I don't have the ability to do so. But it's hard to do hard work now because I feel like I'm not doing enough. So it's either I do nothing and feel like shit, or I work to the bones and feel like I'm not doing enough. But the common denominator here is that I'm both unhappy. I don't have a lot of joy, and I still feel lost no matter what I'm doing. It's just a different font of doing things. It always comes back to unhappiness. I don't have anybody that I feel I could talk to about these kinds of things, and that's not their fault. It's not like I haven't had people stick out an olive branch and try to help and reach out, just try to get to the bottom of these things professionally or even casually. It's just those issues that I have, it prevents me from opening up. So now that has gotten me to the point where all I really can do is either deal with it or just suffer. But if you don't talk about these kinds of things, you're bound to suffer no matter what. It's pretty much inevitable. I always question myself, what am I really working towards when I work so hard to the point of sleep deprivation? What am I really trying to gain here? What kind of person am I trying to become? I'll tell you one thing. After a series of so much hard work and sleep deprivation, I give myself about 2 days to do some degenerate shit and hang out with some women and just be mindless so I can just be like everybody else and have fun. And at the moment, it felt good. But at the time of this recording, I shit you not, bro, I just bawled real tears. And I don't know why. I had a talk about my disorganization right after that, and I don't believe in coincidences. So my disorganization right after I just spent this time being a degenerate, it all is just seeping in now. I try to run from who I am and my thoughts, and it just didn't work. It eventually caught up to me. I have a video about that where I talked about that earlier on this channel, that you're not fast enough to run away from your thoughts. I thought by going and hanging out with some women and not being aware of anything, I thought it would make me feel better. And sure, it felt great at the time, especially with the memories I made within the last 2 days, but I still feel like shit, bro. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Because if I'm working super hard and I see no results, it's like, damn, why do I even bother? But you slack off or you relax to try to ease your mind of these things. And it's like, damn, I could be putting this towards the thing where I'm not getting results. But at least I would feel like I'm worth a damn. But it all comes down to your worth in general. If you have a good state of mind, a thought like this is not going to occur. No matter what you do, you're going to be able to enjoy your idle time. You're going to be able to enjoy the time where you're grinding, you're working on something that's bigger than yourself. This is purely a skill issue on my part, and it's something I'd like to bring awareness to those that might resonate. And it's just been a series of things. I'm getting used to this entrepreneurship thing where it can be as crazy as you make $10,000 within a month, and there could be a month where you make 10 bucks, so you essentially become a slave to the numbers. You start to base your worth around the productivity, and that's something toxic. It's not going to help you with anything. You become a workhorse with no soul, and I feel like life isn't supposed to be lived in that manner. A small part of me intrinsically wishes I could be exactly who people think I am, like this strong old man with a whole bunch of wisdom. In actuality, I feel like the complete and utter opposite. I feel like I don't know shit. I don't look good. I got all this shit going on mentally, and sometimes I might have the remedy, but I might not be smart enough to really utilize this and create an actionable plan to get the help that I need. So I kind of just thug it out. I put on a mask and I go about it like nothing's happened. And sometimes that gets pretty tiring, putting up a performance like you're wearing a clown mask all day. The outlet that I used to use for a time like this where I would feel down on my luck no longer works for me, where I would just blind myself with a whole bunch of women that I had no business being with. And, that used to work when it would just be one night. But as you get older and the people you deal with get older, you realize it just can't be that way. People have feelings and they have emotions. You can't just use somebody as a way to get over yourself or try to run away from your thoughts. Your thoughts will always come back to you when you least expect it, and it will come on time too. Life will remind you that plenty of times. It's like I'm almost in an endless cycle of disappointing everybody I care about. I just genuinely don't see a reality, despite what others might say, that I'm not disappointing them. It always feels like I'm not living up to this invisible standard that I set, and I hate that. I'm a slave to this invisible standard, bro. It really fucks with your self-esteem, your confidence, and how you operate. It starts messing with your hobbies, and even how you care about people, bro. Because when you feel like the worst version of yourself, you give that to other people, and they don't deserve that at all. They have nothing to do with that. That's all you. Funny thing is, with the women that I spent my time with running away from my thoughts, they had a relatively similar opinion about me, or at least for first encounter, they would say, "Hey, you seem pretty mature. You seem wise beyond your years." I can't look at anything than more than a facade, bro. I feel the complete opposite. I don't see what they see. I'm not hearing what they hear, and it feels like shit, bro. It doesn't help that I wasn't really raised in a box to where you're supposed to go and try out your creativity. You don't do that. You go to college, you go to trade school, and that's that. You don't try anything else outside of that. Anything else that's uncertain is not good for you. So I have to fight that mentality every day and still try to find the reason that it works. And the days where it feels like it's not working, you feel like shit, and you start questioning your passions. You start to think that everything is almost like a waste of time, and it shouldn't be like that. So despite me having a great support system, I know when I have kids, I want to go that extra mile to make my children feel like they can do anything in this world, no matter how unconventional it is. And for me to really push that message, I need to have so much monetary gain. I need to have so much money in my pocket so they have that freedom to explore. Now, I'm not saying I don't have that myself right now, but it's just the mental aspect is really what helps you break through these kinds of gaps. It makes you keep on going. And right now, it feels harder than ever to do that, but I know it'll be worth it one day. I wish I could be that hero that people on TikTok, or maybe even this YouTube channel, that they see. But truth is, I'm just not there yet, bro. This buff dude who seems like he knows it all doesn't know shit, and all that muscle is just a shell to cover up the weak little boy inside, just yearning for attention and help. And it gets to me every day. I think about that shit every night. Because no matter how much muscle I put on, how heavy the weights I lift, it's not going to be easier to lift this guilty conscience of mine to not living up a invisible standard that I set for myself. It's so stupid, because you think when you are aware of the problem and the root of it, it would be an easy fix. But life shows you that it's just not that simple sometimes. It's just like a feeling where you're the only one that senses a wee bit of your own potential, and you're the only one that kind of hypes it up. Granted, when you have your own dream, you do need to be the only one to push for it because it is your dream. But people underestimate how hard that truly is, because sometimes that doubt gets to us, and doubt is a feeling that is taught to us. That isn't something that we know. We know happiness, we know sadness. Doubt, that's something that's taught by other people. And as of recently, I've doubted myself so many times. There's no motivational video, speaker, text, call that I could listen to or watch that would help me get out of a funk like this. This is a deeper issue that needs to be confronted by me and me alone. I and I alone. Whatever's grammatically correct in this sense, I don't really care. It's damned if I do, damned if I don't. And that's not an issue that you can just sleep off, because it's an overwhelming feeling that you gotta live with, you gotta walk with. No matter what you do, you don't feel like you're good enough. I wish I could live up to how people saw me, but that's just, I don't think I'm him, bro. I wish I could see a motivational video and be like, ooh, yeah, I'm pumped. I feel like the shit, bro. There's never really been a time where I feel like I'm the shit. Every other time has been fake. When I had times where I was binging with women for hookup culture, the shit was a facade, bro. It's that physical stimuli that made you feel like the man. The shit wasn't real. Those times where I hit those follower milestones on different social media platforms, shit was a facade. That shit didn't make me happy, bro. I think the only time where I really, truly felt one was when I was reading something that helped me out, that talked about my exact situation, or I read some literature that explore mature themes that teach me something I can take until the end of time. It's so funny how when you put on muscle, people think you're this brawn and super macho dude. This shit is a shell. It's like a turtle shell, bro. Like, I'm still that weak ass little kid that has to get told to speak up because I don't speak loud enough, because I'm self-conscious about asking people for things. And I'm a grown ass man, bro. You can give out all the advice in the world, but at the end of the day, you still are who you are. And sometimes the perception doesn't matter. I try to be as transparent as possible with you guys so you can know about the real shit. The majority of people who deal with social media, they don't post their lows. It's only the highs, and anything else is pretty much frowned upon. I'm not afraid to tell people I feel like shit. I don't feel the best, and there's a lot of times where I don't feel like walking, bro. I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't feel like living sometimes, bro. It can get that bad, and you keep that shit stuffed inside. But ultimately, I always find a way to keep getting up and keep getting back to it, so I always take that as a sign. I'm in this weird little middle ground of, I want to free all of my loved ones of labor so they don't have to work, and give them all this money so they don't have to worry about anything. They don't have to be worried. They don't have to worry about being told no. They can just get whatever. They can explore what they want. But I'm also trapped between a world where you could come off a little nihilistic, or like, I believe in nihilism. I don't believe there's a point to anything. Sometimes I just don't want to be here. And those two ideals clashing with each other make for a very, very, very bad recipe. A very doubtful recipe at that, because when you're trying to figure out a solution, you usually sit with idle hands, and then you think so much, you end up not executing anything, and now you have a big pile of nothing. These women don't mean shit to me. This money doesn't mean shit to me. I just want to help out the ones that help me. But to do that, I must identify how I'm bigger than my work ethic. I'm bigger than my productivity. I shouldn't have to work till I'm sleep deprived to feel good about myself. I should be able to relax and not feel like shit. I should be able to have all of that, but right now at this point, I do not. So I have a lot of internal work I need to brush up on. Just for anybody listening to this, just to wrap it up, you are bigger than your physical labor. You're bigger than your work ethic. Don't be a slave to your own productivity. I know it's a cliche title at this point, but repeat it to yourself often, because I feel like it's not done enough, especially with this generation where we see nothing but people winning. Nobody is allowed to lose. Everybody's just racking up $15K a month off internet money. No, bro. You don't need all that. But there's nothing wrong with trying to work for it, but don't base your worth around that work, if that makes sense. I know I'm getting redundant. I love and appreciate you. Thank you for anybody who took the time to listen to your boy. I appreciate it. It goes a long way. I'm going to send this out to my Discord. What's going to happen, majority of it is going to ignore it, but the ones that stayed to the end and actually listened, man, that's a whole different kind of love I got for y'all, man. I appreciate it. Peace out. Bye. You guys have a great day, night, whenever you're listening. Peace.